This lesson it's a subject that's probably so misunderstood by almost everyone. What you have to understand is that everything that comes into your life comes by law. This entire universe operates by law. Now, the fact that we don't necessarily agree with that is because of our own ignorance. We don't know everything. We don't really understand the laws in depth. But I want you to look at this and really think. The law of attraction is one of the greatest gifts, the understanding of this. Now, I have mentioned on numerous occasions that when The Secret came out, the basis of The Secret was the law of attraction. Unfortunately, not everybody that is on the Secret really understands the law of attraction. And that's not a put down. It's just that they didn't. You've got a lot of people there. And this particular law, well, first of all, I've mentioned on numerous occasions, it's a secondary law. It's not a primary law. The primary law is the law of vibration that we will be talking about. And you've got to control the vibration you're in if you want to control what's coming into your life. When you learn how to do that, you can take your pen and literally write your own ticket. You really can. There is no end to where we can go and what we can do. Now, what's one of the most important things in the world? There it is right there. Earl Nightingale talked about it. He said, this is the magic word. Thanks, Scott. And it's a word that we've got to be acutely aware of all the time. Attitude is not a subject that should be taken lightly. It's attitude is all about the mind. Attitude is our position or bearing, is indicating thoughts, feelings, and actions. So you're taking in the conscious, the subconscious, and the body. You're taking in all parts of your personality. And this is essential if we're going to understand the law of attraction. Now, we've also got, aside from our own ignorance, we've got the ignorance of all our ancestry. I mean, it's all into the paradigm. It goes back for generations, you know? Thanks, God. And so we're gaining an understanding of a law that very few people understand. Although everyone is subjected to it and everyone is being impacted by it every day. How often do we catch ourselves pointing our finger or blaming someone, something, sick conditions or circumstance for what's going on in our life? We have the ability to take absolute control over our life. And there's a great poem. I want to recommend everybody get it. Write this down. Invictus. Invictus. And it's by Henley. Henley wrote it. Invictus. It's a phenomenal poem to study. You got to be the master of your fate. All right. Now, we've got our paradigm that's it's really causing us to stumble a lot every day. Now, what is the paradigm? Let's take a look at it. It is a mental program that has almost, why do we say almost? Because you do have conscious control over it. But because it has mostly control over us because we've been programmed this way, we've got to take control back. So the paradigm it's a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. And almost all of our habitual behavior, or almost all of our behavior is habitual. Now, don't take my word for it. I've been studying this for a long time, but I want you to think on your own. If you are living with someone, you're living with a person that has a paradigm, and that paradigm is in control of their habitual behavior. When they wake up in the morning, bang, the habitual behavior cuts in. And there's a routine that they go through. Now, part of that routine maybe you don't like. There's going to be trouble in River City if you try and change their routine, because that's a very deeply rooted routine. It's way, and God knows how far back it goes back in their family. We're really programmed, and the programming is deep. You've got the genetic programming right from the moment of conception. That's when mom's DNA and dad's DNA came together, and that formed the nucleus of you. And then the attractive force was sent up, and it kept growing and growing until 280 days later, boom, you made your great debut on the planet. And then you started to add to that paradigm from your environment that you're in. Now, the environment you're in is probably very much like what you picked up at the moment of conception, because the two people that came together that created the seed that made you, those people have habits, and you're in their habit sphere. And that's really what it is. It's a habit sphere. And that is going right into your subconscious mind. So we're dealing with something pretty big. Now, wants are spoken here. They're not spoken in a paradigm. You have heard, I don't know how many times, you can't have everything you want. Well, the truth is you can. The truth is you can. You can have everything you want. And there's no reason why you shouldn't have it. You're God's highest form of creation. You've been blessed with faculties that would just blow the mind of a person if they can really look at it in depth and see what's there. So we're saying wants are spoken here. I want you to let down your guard. Get rid of all the logic and all the nonsense that tells us, the lack of money or the lack of wisdom, lack of knowledge. Forget all that. Let's just use our imagination here and think, what do you really want? Because I'm going to tell you something. If you want it, it's already here. Then it's just a matter of getting on the same frequency. And woo, you're going to get it, baby. Trust me. That's where you dream out loud. Forget about what they think. First of all, it's none of your business what they think. So forget about what they think. And listen, it's okay to be silly. It's okay to be silly. No reason why you shouldn't be. Okay? Now, what we're talking about here is loosening up our mind. Let's get the energy flowing to and through us. There's a pure, unadulterated spirit flowing into your consciousness right now. And as it flows into your consciousness, you can make anything out of it you want. Anything out of it you want. And all things are possible, if you can think it. Can you imagine... Well, when I was a kid, we didn't even have a phone. We didn't have a phone. And when we got one, it was a party line. Now, God knows how many other people are on the line. If you don't know what a party line is, all kinds of people are on the same frequency. And so you pick up your phone to talk to someone. Somebody else can pick up their phone and listen to you. They may be on the other side of town, but they're part of your party line. Now, can you imagine if back then, I'm going back, let's say 70 years to when we got our first phone. And it was the party line. Can you imagine if somebody had talked about this phone, what we could do about this? Now, can you imagine if somebody had told us 70 years ago that this would happen? We would have said they're right out of their mind. And that is because it's so far beyond the consciousness, the conscious awareness of the people. Well, let's think of it this way. We can go way beyond our own conscious awareness and tap into anything we want. And we're capable of doing it. Because you see, that's how this phone came about. That's how the ability to communicate to you came about. Now look here. There's the little diagram that Thurman Fleet dreamed up, and God, is it a beauty. That's your mind and you. There's your conscious mind. You can think of what you want And I want you thinking of what you want. I tell the story in the Born Rich book about my Aunt Marg. She said in a seminar, she says, when you said, now, what do you want? What do you really want? She's gone now, God bless her, but man, I do remember that. And I said, what do you really want? Not what does your husband want you to want, or your wife want you to want, or what do the kids want you to want? What do you want? And she said, it had been so long since I thought of what I wanted. She said, there was nothing coming. But she said, when the idea started to come what I wanted, I couldn't write it fast enough. And it just flowed out of me. And I'm going to tell you, she and her husband's lives changed. They were dirt poor at the time with a whole bunch of kids. In a relatively short period of time, they had $1 million business, beautiful home in Toronto, beautiful home in Florida, nice cars. All that changed because they let themselves think of what they want. You think what you want. Then, by taking subjective control over what we want. In other words, get emotionally involved with what you want. Let yourself feel it. This is all done with your imagination. You know what you're going to do? You're going to change the vibration you're in. You're going to change your behavior, and the results, voila, the results change. This is marvelous the way this happens. And let's think. You are a spiritual being. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. Yours is. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. In other words, the essence of who you are is perfect. There's no flaws, absolutely none. The real you requires no modification, requires no improvement. This is this magnificent power that's flowing to and through us. Now get this. This, what you're made out of, is a power that's all-knowing. In other words, all the knowledge there ever was or ever will be is here right now. All the knowledge. It's all here. The way to do everything is here. We just have to tap into it. All science and all theology are adamant about this. Nothing is created or destroyed. Everything's already been created. All the knowledge is here. You have all the knowledge because you're made out of this power. It's all powerful. You'll run and you won't get weary. Now think. When you're tired, it's because you're violating the laws and you're wearing this thing out. It's all powerful. All powerful. All the power there ever was or ever will be is 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. All the knowledge there ever was or ever will be is 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. Now get this. It is ever present. It doesn't matter where you go. It doesn't matter how far away. That power is always with you. It's always with you. It's always with you. Now think about that for a moment. That is very powerful. You're a spiritual being. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. It requires no modification, no improvement. All the power, all the knowledge, it's ever present. Now that is the real you. It's important we establish this because this is what we're dealing with. When you start to say, I can't do this and I can't do this, you better pay attention to who you are. You are truly God's highest form of creation. I know you may not have ever done anything of any consequence in your life. Look at, when Ray Stanford handed me this book, I was one lost soul. I don't know what you work at, but you wouldn't have hired me. You wouldn't want to hang around with me. I wasn't a very nice person. I wasn't really a nasty person, but I wasn't a very nice person. I was just focused on me. I was trying to get all the time because I never had anything. I didn't understand any of this information. And when he told me what I'm just covered here, told me in his way of telling me, how could I have believed that I was all powerful, that I had all the knowledge there ever was? Hell, immediately my mind went, I never went to school. Well, I want you to really think. And what we're going to do, we're not going to mess around with these little goals of what we already know how to do or what we think we can do. We're going to get up on the high wire there. We're going to get up in the seagulls. Now, to get to the seagull, it's absolutely essential you take your mind there with your imagination. That is really important. You got to go there with your imagination. I don't know what you really want, but I would say odds are you could go much further than you've gone. There is no limit to what you can do. Absolutely none. Your goal has to be something that will cause you to wake up in the morning full of energy. It's going to be something that's going to improve your life and everybody's life that you come in contact with. There's something so special about you. Do you know, when I stop and think of the people that I'm surrounded by in this company, starting with Sandy and then go to Mikey and Gina and Rush and all the people in this company, I thank God every day. I am so grateful for the people that I associate with. And then the thought comes to me, I must deserve these people in my life. I must be like them, or I wouldn't be around them. We're all attracted together. If you want to attract good people, become a good person. If you want to attract better people, become a better person. So you want to make sure your goal is up there in the high wire. It doesn't fall into the category of what you think you can do, what you want to do. It's a way up here is your goal. That's your dream. And you're going to find that this is how it starts. You're a spiritual being, you have an intellect, and you live in a physical body. And because all this is true, you have the ability to think. The thoughts come together in your consciousness and build an idea, a picture in your mind. That image, if it's held in your mind, if it's loved, if you're emotionally involved, must move into physical form. That is one of the first laws of the universe. It's called the perpetual transmutation of energy. And because we are creative beings, we can dictate what form it's going to flow into. Now, do you see, when we fill our being with that idea, that controls the vibration we're in. The vibration we're in dictates what we'll attract. Now, we're going to talk more about that as we go along here, but that's really what we're talking about. You've got to realize that when you build an idea, you're building it at a pure, unadulterated, creative spirit. And you built this idea, and it fills your consciousness. Let yourself feel it. Present tense, not in the future. You've already got it. You've got it intellectually. You've got it emotionally. And you let yourself feel that inside. It has to move into form, and it moves into form. Put the screen up for a second. Look at this for a moment. Here you are here. And you've originated an idea in your conscious mind. Where did it come from? It came from pure, unadulterated spirit. And then you get emotionally involved in that idea. Now that is planting it in your heart. The heart is the subjective mind. It's what Solomon said, as a person thinketh in their heart, so are they. See? As you get emotionally involved in that idea, that controls the vibration that you are in. And the vibration you're in dictates not only how you act, but what you attract. It attracts to you energy that's in harmony with you. See, mind and body are all one. We just got this graphic illustration to help you understand it better. So, thanks, Scott. Go back to the slide. So as you look at this, clearly understand that you are a spiritual being. Spirit is omnipresent. Spirit's 100% evenly present in all places at the same time. It's omnipresent. It's everywhere. Everything is an expression of spirit. We've been separated from everything else because we were given an intellect. And through our intellectual factors, perception, the will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition, through those intellectual factors, we can work with the non-physical side, the spiritual side of ourselves, to change the physical side of ourselves. We're God's highest form of creation. This is just such a phenomenal thing to start to understand. Now get this straight. This is really a black and white deal. There's no gray involved. It doesn't matter how hard you work or how many hours you put in. If the paradigm does not change, the results will ultimately remain much the same from one year to the next. Now, there's people listening to my voice right now. Their results right now are not much different than they were a year ago. You can blame it on the pandemic. You can blame it on the COVID. You can blame it on anything you want. Blame it on your pet dog if you want. As long as the blame point is outside, you're toast. You go look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. You have brought everything into your life. Everything. There's no question about it. Your paradigm controls your vibration. Now, understanding this, say if my paradigm controls my vibration, can I create a vibration that's stronger than the paradigm? Oh, you can. You can do anything because you are truly God's highest form of creation and you are given those higher faculties. Now look here for a moment. Let each of these lines represent a level of vibration. Okay? Each line. We refer to each level of vibration as a frequency. Okay? Your cell phone operates on its own frequency. In fact, everybody's cell phone operates on its own frequency. Now stay with me here. When you get on another person's frequency, you are one with them. Magic happens. You can look at them. And they may be on the other side of the globe. We call it FaceTime. You can look at them and carry on a conversation. You're one with them. Do you know you do that with your imagination? You're one with your goal. You see, you're one with them because you're on the same frequency. Well, when you get on the frequency of the good that you desire, you've already got it, baby. You just haven't caused it to move into form. But you do cause it. You cause it. Because you have the ability to execute these laws to create what you want to create. I'm watching it happen every day in our own company. You can imagine how I feel. I'm just so jazzed with it. Okay? Now look at. This is important. This is your thinking mind. Okay? You're creating a new self-image. I want you to start to see yourself as everything that I've just explained. You get all these sensory factors. And you know something? You're getting inundated from outside with old problems. And you're in harmony with those old problems because that's part of the paradigm. You got to say no more. This nonsense has come to an abrupt halt. I'm not doing that anymore. I am going to take subjective control, my subjective mind, my universal mind, and I'm going to let that new image fill my feelings. It's going to fill me. That is going to control my vibration and control the results. And I got to stay that way. Is that an easy thing to do? I can tell you from personal experience, it is not an easy thing to do. But I can tell you something. If I can do it, you can do it. Now, do you know, I think it was mentioned the other day, Earl Nightingale taught me once time, there's a vast difference between knowledge and experience. You can take this, what I've just said, you've got this knowledge and you can explain it to somebody else. You'll think, wow, that's powerful. I think this will work. That's knowledge. I've got the experience of working with this since 1961. Okay? That's a long time. That's experience. I don't wonder. I know it will work because I've worked it. That's the beautiful thing about experience. If you won once, you know you can win. It's not a wonder, can I? You know you can. That's knowledge and experience put together. Nothing like experience. Experience tells you, you know you can. Now let me go through this again. Look. Here you are here. You got your senses. And you built a picture of this new part of you. Now the old problems, they're going to come at you. And they're in harmony with the old paradigm. But you made a decision that is not going to control me anymore. This new image is controlling me. In fact, I'm going to let it have subjective control over me because I'm going to saturate my subjective mind with it. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to walk around. Every time I find myself having problems, I'm going to turn it over again. And I know from experience that's what will happen. Now stay with me. Here's this power flowing into you, okay? Controls your thoughts. Those thoughts you send off into the universe, but you also internalize them. So those thoughts cause you to feel the way you're feeling. Those feelings are expressed with and through your body, but you also send those feelings off out into the universe. And because it goes into your body, that controls the vibratory rate of the body and controls how you act. So what we've got here is 1, 2, 3. That's what causes the results. It's called attitude. Attitude is your position or bearing, is indicating thoughts, feelings, and actions. Now I'm going to tell you something. You are in control of your attitude. Put a blow up, Scott. You are in control of your attitude. You control your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Absolutely refuse to let anybody take that control away from you. I don't care who it is. You don't let them do it. Now stay with me here. Everything you want, lock into this, really pay attention, is also on its own frequency. Everything you want. Nothing's created or destroyed, therefore everything's here. Everything is on its own frequency. Become one with it. Become one with it. And you know what will happen? You'll become magnetized to it and you'll attract it right into your life. Okay? Look at your present results right now. You can only attract what you're in harmony with. I want you to think about what's coming into your life right now. Just leave that there, Scott. All right? I want you to take a real good look at your present results. You can only attract what you're in harmony with. This is so important. Energy attracts like energy. Energy attracts like energy. You can only attract to you what's in harmony with you. If you're holding bad ideas, thinking bad thoughts about other people, you're attracting bad energy to you. You've filled yourself with it and you're attracting bad energy to you. Make a decision to become one with what you want. This is so important and it's so misunderstood. You're going to become one with it. How do you do that? I'm going to show you how to do it. All right? Now listen. Here we go. The wants are here in your conscious mind. Wants are in your conscious mind. But understand this. The wants come from the essence of who you are. The essence of who you are is pure, unadulterated spirit. Your spiritual DNA is perfect. There's perfection within you. There's perfection within everyone. And that perfection is seeking expression within through you. Because spirit's always for expansion and fuller expression. It's such a big idea, and it's so misunderstood. How do we become one with it? You mentally see yourself with it, and you emotionally get involved with it. And that's how your desire is formed. You become one with it. You've taken ownership of it. You can say, well, I haven't got it. Physically, you haven't got it, but you've got it here, you've got it here, and it's only a period of time until you have it here. See, that's called the perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy moving into form. The energy moved into our consciousness, and we gave it form. And then we turn it over to universal subconscious mind, because that's really what that is. Now, I want you to stop and think of what that is. Here's what it is. Look at this. Sounds a little strange. I'm going to tell you something. Your subconscious mind is a part of everything. That's the universal subconscious mind. That is why when you get emotionally involved and move into that vibration, you are connected with whatever you want. Doesn't matter where it is. It's probably all over the place because it's coming to you in parts and little specks of energy. That is how you become one with what you want. You mentally become one with it. It's like the great actors. Okay? Now stay with me. Let's look at this again. There we are. We're getting inundated, no question about it, and the old paradigm's still there. However, we have consciously control to block that off, just block it off, and we've consciously decided to saturate our universal mind with the image that we consciously chose. And we consciously chose it from pure, unadulterated spirit. And we know, because we have done it in the past, we see it work, as we get emotionally involved in that vibration, it changes our results. It's just the way it happens. Now make sure you understand this. That's you. Touch yourself. You can create your own economy, your own future. From this moment on, you can be totally in charge. You always could have been. I'm just trying to bring it to your attention. Now listen, I'm giving you what I studied every day for 70 years. I've got a pile of stuff here I'm studying. I've got books here that I'm studying. I study them every day. I was here in the studio very early this morning, just reviewing this lesson. I want to make it as good as I possibly can for you. The law of vibration, the secret to goal setting and achieving, it certainly is. Now let's review. A frequency is a level of vibration. All right? It's a level of vibration. What we want to understand, there's an infinite number of frequencies. An infinite number. Why didn't we have a phone when I was a kid? Because we were ignorant. We thought there was a limited number of frequencies, so only the wealthy or the favored could get a telephone, because you need a frequency to have a telephone. Isn't it strange now, the millions of phones there are around, and we all have our own frequency? There's no party lines. We all have our own frequency. It's such a magnificent concept. Now stay with me. Stay with me. There's an infinite number of frequencies. This is such a beautiful thing to know. Every frequency is connected to the one above and the one below. There is no line of demarcation. They're all hooked together like the colors of a rainbow. One starts before the other one finishes, and they're all connected together. This is so powerful, and it's so misunderstood. Now let that X represent you. That X represents where you are. Take an honest look at where you are in your life. And you'll be able to see how you got there. I want you to take an honest look at where you are in your life. This is so important. How's your finances? How's your finances? How is your social life? How's your physical health? What's your business like? Is your business growing beautifully? Ask yourself this. I'm going to tell you something. You can go back and you can review how you got there. Because each one of these levels of vibration, you can call frequencies, you can call them levels of awareness. You know, if we go back down about halfway down those lines. Do you remember when you first moved there? Do Do you remember when you first started to work there? Can you remember when this first happened to you? All the way up. Every one of those lines represent a happening, something that caused you to move ahead and get to where you are. That's how it works. We continually raise our level of conscious awareness. And because we do, we unfold greater beauty and greater prosperity in our life. Now look, really pay attention here. You're sitting there and you're looking there. There. Wow. You're dreaming. You've just taken a break. And you've got yourself into a very relaxed position. And you're letting your mind take off like a rocket. You've got your imagination and you see something so absolutely beautiful. This is how my business could be. This is how I could live. That's the kind of house I could live in. Oh my God. Go back there. Just look and think. But I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. And we let it fade. I'm going to tell you something. If we go back a little ways, you didn't know how to do that where you are now. You had no idea how to get there. And just because you can't see how to get there, that doesn't mean you can't go there. You can go anywhere. You're God's highest form of creation. You've got all these higher faculties. Look it. To move to a much higher frequency of thought, you must first consent. I cannot do this for you. If I could do it for you, I'd come up behind you with a syringe, I'd stick it in your ass, and you'd get it. You really would. I want you to get this. Listen, this is so phenomenal. God, you can't find anything better than this. This is life. To move to a much higher frequency of thought, you must first consent. You've got to make the decision. Then you have to adapt to the ideas and feelings the new frequency represents. See, when you go ahead, the old paradigm's saying, get out of there, you're going to get hurt. You're going to lose everything you've got. Are you crazy? What are you doing that for? That's what the paradigm does. You're taking control over that paradigm. Now look at, you've got to decide. And at the suggestion, even the suggestion of a move mentally, your paradigm instantly is going to put up a huge battle. And it'll continually fight you. You've got to take conscious control over the paradigm. You've got to remove and replace it. This is huge. Absolutely huge. God, do I love it. There you are there. There's where you want to go. This is what we want to understand. Don't let that fade. What we want to understand is there is a place. That's an actual place. We went there in our imagination. That's how we got to where we are. That's how we fly through the air now. That's how we communicate with pictures going back and forth. That's how everything is being done. We're broadcasting all over the world from this studio. There's no end to where you can go. There is a place. Understand that. Listen to what Hill said. There's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. Nobody's ready for a thing till they believe they can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief and not mere hope or wish. Open-mindedness is essential to belief. Closed minds will not inspire faith, courage, or belief. Now look it. You got to get ready. And you're not ready if you don't believe you can do it. Hoping and wishing isn't going to cut it. See, our belief is developed through evaluation. And by reevaluating, and that's what we're doing in this lesson, you're reevaluating what you're capable of doing. You may have never thought of this before. You're thinking of it now, and you're not here by accident. I'm going to tell you something. You've been attracted to me, and I've been attracted to you. It's all by law. This is not a philosophy that Bob has. This is by law. You got to believe it. Just believe it. And I'm going to tell you something. Magic starts to happen. Now look it. You've got to remember, whenever you go on a trip, you want to remember there's a place. God, it's such a beautiful thought. And remember, no more efforts required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity than is required to accept misery and poverty. See, it doesn't take any more to go there. In fact, when you believe, that's when the magic starts. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. That means your whole being fuses with that state. And this union results in the activation and projection of its plots, plans, conditions, and circumstances. Everything changes. You see, you take and you impress that upon universal mind. All right? When you impress that upon the universal mind, everything in the universe is affected by it. Everything. The farthest star. You say, oh, I don't believe that. Want to know the beautiful truth? You don't have to. You don't have to. Do you know how I come to believe it? I kept repeating it over and over and over and over again. You believe, and your belief will create the fact. I earn millions of dollars today. Our company operates all over the world. In 1973, I sat down with my pen. I said, I'm going to build a company that operates all over the world. I was sitting by myself in a little den about 10 by 10. I had no one working with me. I was it. Today, we operate all over the world. You see, I don't wonder if this works. I know it works. That's why I tell you, if you tell me what you want, I can show you how to get it. This is everything. Make sure you're getting it. Thanks, God. Now, let's come back here. Blow it up. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. What do we mean by that? Intellectually, emotionally, physically. And this union results in the activation and projections of its plots and plans, conditions, and circumstance. This new state of conscious awareness becomes your home from which you view the world. This is where you're living now. You're not like those other people anymore. They want to complain, let them go ahead and do it. They want to let the news broadcasters control their subjective world, let them go ahead and do it. You're in control of you. This is the way you want to operate. This new state of conscious awareness becomes your home from which you view the world. See, your perception is everything. It's one of the higher faculties. It's a gift God gave you that no other form of animal life has got. Perception. It's how you look at the world. Now look at this. Come back. Okay? This is your workshop. And if you're observant, you're going to see outer reality shaping itself upon the model of your imagination. You're going to watch your world. Mikey phoned me about 3 weeks ago, a month ago maybe. I picked up the phone. It was in the evening. And she said, Bob, I just got a call from Betty. We are broadcasting right now into every country in the world. In 1973, I didn't care how long it took. I just knew it was going to happen, and I knew I was going to enjoy the ride. But that's where I started to live then. I began to walk, talk, and live like I was with a company and operated all over the world. How do you think I attracted some of the geniuses that work in this company? I get people in this company that could figure me right through a brick wall. A lot smarter than me in a lot of areas. I just love this. I love it. Now look it, come back. When you move on to a higher frequency, you will be communicating with a world totally foreign to and beyond the reach of your five senses. This, you're not talking in your physical world anymore. You're dealing with the universal mind. You're dealing with universal intelligence. You're up there, you're on harmony with the frequency that you're on. That's your world. That's where you're living. You've got to adapt to that, and you can do it. So now look at, Steve Jobs put it very well. He said, you cannot connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. The dots will somehow connect in the future. You just got to trust that. You see the top X, the bottom X? Go back from the bottom X, you can see how you got there. The top X, you have no idea how you're going to get there. But I'm going to tell you something. If you stay emotionally involved with that goal and you love it, things are going to start to happen. Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Woo! We did it! We did it! Then you take a look at the lesson and you say, you know, Scott, come on. Bring this up, please. I could have gone there. I could have gone there. Yeah, you could have, but you didn't. But you did go there. It's such a beautiful thing. Now look at paradigms are so important. It's a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. And almost all of our behavior is habitual. So what is the bottom line? Here's the bottom line. Go to the screen, Scott. You get the image of what you want and you get emotionally involved. When you do that, you're physically in vibration. That starts to attract, but it also causes us to act. Now look at, if we let these lines represent levels of vibration, we'll say this is where I am here right now. But this is where I want to go here. Do you know what you're doing? You are just jumping over all of this stuff. You're going over all of that, and you're going directly to there. Now, you're going to live there. You're going to live in that frequency. That becomes your home. That's your workshop. That's how you see the world from there. I saw the world from the point we were operating all over the world. I was doing that for years. And I'm going to tell you some of the stuff I had to go through over the past, 50 years. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, and yet the experience has been invaluable. And we did. We got there. Now I'm working on a new goal. And I know that goal is going to unfold in front of me. I talk to Sandy, my business partner, almost every day. And we talk about the goal every day. We talk about it in present tense. It's not something that's going to happen in the future. If you say, I'm going to, that means I am not now. Remember, come back to the screen, Scott. You have to get intellectually involved with the idea, emotionally involved with the idea, and physically involved with the idea. When you're involved in those three planes, it's only a period of time until it moves into form. And we don't know what the time is. If the goal's big, it'll probably take a while. I've always found work expands to fill the time allotted for it. If you give yourself a long time, it'll take you a long time. But when you get emotionally involved with the goal, the attractive force you set up. I would go back and I would watch this often. Watch this often. Now look at this. I'm going to show you something here, and I'm going to recommend you go back and read this. I'm not going to take the time now. We'll do it at another lesson. But this is one of the greatest lessons I have learned here. And it came from Thomas Troward, who was one of the greatest teachers in the world. Okay? Now you can go back and watch this over again. And I want you to take and dissect what we're looking at here. Okay? I broke it down into just lines. My mind's the center of divine operation. Now, I'll just give you one hint. If I held a basketball in my hand, there's only one point in that ball that's center. Just one point. There's only one point in this room that's center. There's only one point in anything that's center. When you're dealing with the divine operation, any point center. You see, there's only one point in the basketball center because it's determined by the outer measurements of the ball. When you're dealing with infinite intelligence or spirit, there is no outer limits, so any point center. Now just keep doing this. The divine operation is always for expansion or fuller expression. And this means a production of something beyond what's gone before, something entirely new, not included in my past experience, though it's proceeding out of my past experience by an orderly sequence of growth. Therefore, since the divine cannot change its inherent nature, it's all by law. It must operate in the same manner within me. Consequently, in my special world, of which I am the center, it will move forward to produce new conditions, always in advance of any that's gone before. My God, I love that. I absolutely love it. I've been studying it for a long time. I want you to come back to this lesson and go back to that slide. And I want you to study it. I want you to write it out. I want you to read it 10,000 times. Because when you understand that, you're going to start to understand why you are one with everything that is. And everything's operated by law.